Und damit willkommen zurück zu The Great Ace Attorney, Resource 2, meine Lieben. Chronicles. Wir sind hier stehen geblieben bei den werten Herren und mal schauen, was er uns noch zu dem Thema was zu sagen hat. Dementsprechend, let's go. Obviously you knew the man then, the professor I mean, Genshin Asogi. Yes, I remember him well. In fact, would you mind telling us what you know? Well, having been condemned to death as he was, any contact I had with the man was short, obviously. After the trial, which was carried out behind closed doors, attended only by elite members of the judiciary. They called for the execution to be carried out the earliest possible opportunity. The outcome of the trial was set from the beginning, wasn't it? It was a time of delicate diplomacy when Britain and Japan were in the process of signing an important treaty that meant that his potentially destabilizing case had to be dealt with swiftly and discreetly. The man had less than a week in total. As I was the chief warder, I oversaw the short stay in the cells until the final horror. I remember being struck deeply by the noble character and incredible resilience. What do you mean exactly? He was a killer of many men, but he was always quiet and polite. He was a gentleman and a man of intellect. In fact, I couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd done, so as I asked him one day, those 5 members of the aristocracy lives were taken. Were you really responsible? I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human life, yes. The following day, the closed trial took place, and the verdict was no surprise. Guilty. That night when he was brought back to the cell, I saw something unusual. Something unusual, what? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. Asogi's Wille. Okay. As I said, it was one on the night for the following his trial after he'd been I was doing the rounds of the cell, and when I looked into Asogi's, I noticed that he seemed to have a sheet of paper in his hand. And he last will and testament, and presumably as soon as he noticed me, hurriedly throwed it behind his back. But why did you find that unusual? Isn't it normal for a man to pen a will when he knows death is nigh? Yes, that's true, but here there were special conditions to Asogi creation to see what sort of conditions. Well, even he was held in a cell designed for confinement inmates. He was allowed to keep his personal effects with him, with one exception. Really? He was allowed to things that is unusual currently. Of course, he'd been convicted of killing 5 members of the aristocracy, but at the same time was a guest in our country from the Empire of Japan. The powers that he be were determined that his final days should be needlessly uncomfortable. And what was the exception you mentioned to personal effect he was allowed? It sets the point he wasn't permitted to have writing materials, special no pens or paper, so he was prevented from leaving any written record of what had happened to him. Yes, that was a long and that shot of it. I have no idea where he obtained that paper. Any writing materials would have been confiscated from him. Open his incorrections. As I said, he hid the paper behind his back and then he pleaded with me. What did you just hide behind your back? Please turn a blind eye. This is my lifeline. But you know it's against the rules. You are the only person who's seen. If you just agree to keep quiet. Alright then, but what's on that paper? Our last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. How can a will be a weapon? So I decided to pretend I'd seen nothing and let keep his will, but then later just seemed to vanished without a trace. What do you mean it vanished? It would seem that isn't the end of the story of this mysterious will. Oh boy. Was kommt denn da jetzt noch alles ans Tageslicht? I was the only person who saw Asogi's will, but somehow it disappeared. It was after Asogi's execution, which was actually an elaborate jailbreak. The warriors gathered up Asogi's possessions that were his cell. They were all to be sent back on his family home in Japan. You'll see to poor Kazuma-sama. And you saying that it wasn't anywhere to to be found among the personal effect. So, well, I mean, that's right. I thought I didn't search through them himself, but Governor Canadian was livid. He was screaming. It can't have disappeared completely. That doesn't quite make sense, out does it? What way? In what way? Well, we'd understood that only Mr. Mitchell was aware of the will sentence. In which case, how did the prison governor know to look for it? Oh yes, you're right. I really don't know how he knew, but it can totally seem as though he knew of the will's existence from the outset. Only he didn't refer to it as a will. What he said was the Asogi papers. The Asogi papers. Okay. I really can't tell you anything of the subsequent events because, well, of what happened. You diss me and the way you plugged it all from your memory. I'd forgotten all this until today. I don't suppose it's relevant to cases. Well, anyway, thank you very much for sharing it with us, Mr. Virgil. We are very grateful. I'm afraid really little more I can tell you. My wife Evie will be here shortly, so I do hope I don't appear rude, but no, not all at all. Thank you again. But what will become of you now? Well, impersonating a police officer is criminal offense, of course. I imagine that once I'm fully recovered, I shall be arrested. Oh boy. I'm so sorry. Don't be, please. This was all my own doing. I always knew that this day would come. Well, I wish you well. Goodbye, Mr. Virgil. Before you go, there's just one thing. Oh, yes, what is... boy. Jetzt wird er mir nicht auf den Sack. The Asogi papers. I'd be very grateful if you'd make no mention of the things I told you about them, presumably for some good reason. This is my understanding that their very existence is a closely guarded secret. If it became known that I'd remember it, well, it could be rather troublesome, I think. I understand. So, a sort of it Asogi Genshin Asogi planet just before his death, which the man himself claimed. was his last weapon? I wonder perhaps it had something to do with his plan to escape. So, if there's anyone who might know more about a document that Kazuma's father left behind, it would be Mr. Birch's governor. Then we know precisely where we must go, back to Barclay Prison. Ja, auch a new location. Ja, vor allem neue Location, in der wir ja schon mal waren, muss man sagen. Immer wieder schön. Oh Mann, da wollen wir ja auch wieder sehr viel saufen. Und ich schätze mal dann, wenn wir das dann hinter uns hier haben, werden wir irgendwann mal bald mal wieder ins Gerichtssaal gehen. Also, wenn wir die ganzen neuen Informationen überhaupt haben, I guess, muss man sagen. 2. November, Barclay Prison Governor's Office. Oh, back again, are you? Yes, hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I read report just now. You found him here, Mitchell? Yes, luckily. Well, anyhow, the lady doesn't work here no more, so your case is not to do with Barclay. I would not like you to get the wrong idea about that. Of course, yes, Mr. Roger stopped working here 10 years ago now, so yes, we have seen this dismissal notice, have we? He was given the job. I came, you can very well. So how about we handcuff this quid? Oh, if they really like little handcuffs and are so and as hard as ironies too. So what's brought you to here the day? Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about actually. Is that so? We believe that might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin's Asogi cell. I think it's been called the Asogi papers or something. Oh, der ist nicht darüber sehr erfreut, muss man sagen. Did I know say corrections? This is not to do with things that might have happened at Barclay. Leave the past in the past, lady. Let's not footer about with irrelevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly into something here. Oh, boy, mein Lieber, das kann ja noch was Heiteres werden, muss man sagen. Also dementsprechend reden wir mal mit ihm darüber. That murderous butchered executions and the whole miserable escape. The where Barclay Darkest Tower a shocking imprisonment because the convict and had collaborate on this prison stuff, you mean? For shame, the coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution coordinates, and my chief warder at the time, Mitchell, who was in charge of the whole affair. but Mr. Virtual says he didn't know anything about it. The rascal would say with oversize or handcuffs. Oh, how could I say no? You can never have too much iron in your dit. When Mr. Virtual was handed this meal notice as a result of what had happened, he was disappeared. He jumped out of your office window, didn't he? A DNA likes to say, but that's just Virtual trying to get out of it. Do you think he wouldn't have jumped from he shocked of his crimes being exposed? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise, he thought for you. Of course I can shown responsible myself. I should have let him decide me. Actually, there's barely anybody that can what went on it's a time now, with Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Zeiss forbidden from having any visitors. No visitors, someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Well, we're not going home empty-handed. And I wouldn't dream of sending you packing without... Can I here take off a handcuff or two? Oh well, I wouldn't be rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become any enemy. I suppose if there's anybody who might still can about that happened back then. It be is that loss from the forensic division, Maria Gorey. Maria Gorey? I's daughter. She didn't have no more, just one. But we parents followed in her mom's footstep. I didn't ever see her without a scalpel in her hand. Ah. Das war aber schon mal verpackt. Also Karten hatten mal. Aber zumindest im letzten Fall, muss man sagen. Sagen wir das mal so, wie es ist. Also Faith's daughter Maria Gorey, he called to with talking to her. Okay. So she's Dr. Faith's daughter, but her surname is Gorey. It has the same family history, I'm sure, but I deny can the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her mom working with the bodies of the folk who died in strange circumstances and decided to do with the same with her own life. I can understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Perhaps any who she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe, right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report. Somebody told me once that the Wheelie always loved her mom's stories about cutting up bodies. There's even a rumor that he used to listen to the funnel much as a lullaby. Ich kann das auch nicht aussprechen, I guess. Well then, perhaps her mother may have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. I'd say there's a fighting challenge at the least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of this. We are really need to speak Miss Corey herself about this, I think. Also wir gehen dann nochmal zur Pathologie. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I am now happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor's business. Can go no give up on this lady. Stop asking pointless questions. I am sorry, I don't like dragging up the painful memories for everyone. Can you not just stay away now? Leave me alone and Dina, come back here eh. Nein, mit einer Sache werde ich dir noch auf den Sack gehen, mein Lieber. Aber auch erst im nächsten Part. Dementsprechend vielen Dank fürs Einschalten und bis zum nächsten Mal. Auf Wiedersehen.